Around 215 Mozambican and Zimbabwean nationals are now also on their way home. They've been staying in community halls on Gauteng's East Rand after the recent wave of attacks on foreign nationals and the looting of shops. Yesterday, 300 Nigerian nationals returned home on a flight that was sponsored privately. Our reporter Gillian Pillay joins us in the studios now. Gillian, good evening to you. What are these foreign nationals saying about why they've actually decided to go home?
A very good evening to you, Stephen. I know that the country saw those scenes of the looting and attacks on foreign nationals, very similar to what we saw playing out in 2008. And I think at this stage, a lot of them, their homes have been destroyed, some of their relatives have passed on, and there's still a lot of fear, you know, not really eager to go back to those areas that were targeted and now pose a threat to their lives. So most of them really now rather going home to see if they could start afresh back home, alive, but with relatives too. So these were some of the reasons they gave us, Stephen.
How they're actually getting home? Has someone arranged transport? We know obviously about the Nigerian flight, but have other the governments of Mozambique or Zimbabwe arranged transport?
So what we've seen happen in the past few days, they've been housed in these community halls, and we visited these shelters on Gauteng's East Rand. But what has happened is that these consulates have now come into the picture to assist them, together with Home Affairs, aiding them, and obviously the United Nations playing a very big role together with humanitarian aid organizations, assisting them and bringing this transport to them so that they can have a safe passage home. But most of them now being bused, having to travel like 4 to 5, 6 hours by road to get to the border, and there they'll also be greeted and received by their ministries and agencies on the other side of the border.
Okay, so we have the Nigerians who left yesterday. We have this group who's leaving today. Do we know if other groups of people are planning to leave as well?
At this stage, we've followed up on the Mozambicans, the Zimbabwean nationals. We know about the Nigerians. Another flight is expected to leave tomorrow night. These are the only nationals for now that we know of. We haven't really picked up on any other displaced. We know that the Malawians are still being kept at community halls. There's no real clear picture on whether their governments will come to the party to provide transport to get them on, but they really wanting also to return, looking at loss of life, not being able to go back to those areas where they were with those communities, and also fearing for their lives, Stephen.
And what was the situation at the Nigerian consulate today?
You know, Stephen, I think it was a similar picture yesterday. A lot of numbers converging on that particular consulate. I mean, for a second there you thought it was quite chaotic scenes, but it was just a lot of people wanting their documents processed, wanting to get on these flights that have been sponsored, wanting to get out of the country. You know, they're saying they'd rather voluntarily leave than have a situation where the looting or the attacks on them escalate, and, you know, not really having a safe passage home. So I haven't seen something like that before at the consulate, Nigerian consulate, seeing those hordes of people really wanting to, you know, get their travel documents processed.
Gillian, thank you very much indeed. Our SABC reporter Gillian Pillay.